Wine tastings are pretty cool, but how often am I gonna get the chance to be reviewing some celebrity stuff? Today, we're gonna be reviewing Aviation American Gin. It's owned by Ryan Reynolds. In 2018, he caused a lot of noise in the gin industry, in the spirits industry, because he invested a stake, and he got a stake in Aviation American Gin. People asked him, why did you invest in this? And he said, because it was the best damn gin that he'd ever had. And we're gonna find out today. And if you don't know Ryan Reynolds, what generation are you living in? I mean, he's one of the best actors in the world. My favorite movie of him is Green Lantern and Underground 6 or whatever that movie was, which nobody watched. I watched it. I'm a big fan, okay? Yeah. Even though he came into the picture of Aviation American Gin in 2018, the gins caused quite a bit of controversy and quite a bit of mayhem in the gin and spirits industry since 2006. It's a collaboration, one of the few first collaborations between a distiller and a bartender. And this came into being in 2006 in Portland, Oregon. The two gentlemen behind the gin, Ryan Margarian and Christian Kokstad, took about 30 tries before they actually found what they were looking for. They actually started somewhat of a cult. Since there weren't any gins like this one, people started calling them either New Western Dry Gins or American Dry Gins. The whole idea behind starting a gin like this was that in normal circumstances, a lot of people stay away from gin because gin is too overpowered by juniper berries. Whereas the whole idea behind them making this gin was that the other botanicals need to be recognized for what they are. So it was basically somewhat like a democracy of botanicals with President Juniper Berry still in power, so to say. I'm way too excited to open this bottle. It's the first time I'm opening it with you. Oh my god, this doesn't smell like any ordinary gin, I'm telling you. But before I really get into the flavor profiles and aroma characteristics that I'm getting, let me tell you a little bit about how this gin was made. Apart from the neutral grain spirit, there were 7 other botanicals which were used in the distillation process to create this hopefully beautiful gin. These are juniper, cardamom, lavender, sarsaparilla, coriander, aniseed, and dried orange peel. So let's take a whiff. I'm also going to be tasting this neat. I'm an alcoholic. No tonic water, nothing, just the gin as it is on the rocks. Wow, it smells like Singapore. It basically smells leafy, it smells really like eucalyptusy. It's really minty in the beginning. You're really getting a little bit of that Indian sarsaparilla, that green root, the root of the plant. You're getting that. It's a little bit mild on the nose. I was expecting a little bit more of a burst, but it's a little mild, but it's still very greeny and very leafy in its sense. A little bit of that foresty aroma going on with it as well. Let's see what it's like on the palate. Okay. This punches you straight up the nose with the way it tastes. Wow. Definitely some spice in this. It's got that cardamom, that cinnamon suddenly just hits you. There's this earthy spice to it and this flamed orange peel. It's like you set the orange peel on fire and suddenly you had to take it. Wow, it's quite incredible. The finish, very surprisingly, is very, very smooth. The finish is sailingly smooth. The finish is also very floral in its sense. So it's very right in its way where it says that it's very botanical driven, but I wouldn't say that there's hardly any juniper. There's a lot of juniper in this gin as well, which really surprises you because, I mean, it's meant to not have a lot of juniper, but it's got a lot of it. In my opinion, it's very methodologically balanced. It's very skillfully and artistically balanced in a way where every characteristic or every botanical shows its own characteristic very powerfully. So even if they say that there's not a lot of juniper in it, the juniper acts out in a very mild yet in a very stringent way. Even though this is best had neat, I really want to see what it's going to be like if I added a bit of grapefruit tonic to it. So let's see what it's like. It blends perfectly. It's beautiful. I think it still goes very well with any kind of tonic. To conclude, I'm gonna say this. A brilliant gin to have on the rocks, a brilliant gin to mix for your cocktails. It's got a celebrity backing it. It's got Diageo backing it. Diageo recently bought this company for 610 million US dollars. It's doing very well in sales. Look at the packaging. It's so minimalistic, it's so simple, yet in a way it's so elegant. So I don't see anything going wrong with this gin. Everything's going right. I certainly love it, and I hope you do too. Cheers guys, have a good time.
It's over. Go home.